Hi guys, Tracy here with my second layout of the day. I'm so excited to be able to dig into the It's My Life kit. I've already made one layout today with the other kit, which was called Lost in My Mind. So I'm just going through the papers here and I'm having a look at which papers I want to use for the photos I have in mind. I am working from a sketch today, but I cannot share the sketch with you because it has not been revealed yet. So that does explain why this layout goes by quite a bit quickly. Sorry, quite a bit more quickly than usual. It took me under an hour to do this layout, and I always find working with sketches a really nice fun way to put some papers together and not have to worry so much about the layout and kind of play a little bit more around with kind of like some of the embellishing. And for this layout, because I don't have to think so much about the layout of it and the kind of like the overall design, I'm going to play around with lots and lots of stitching on this layout, and that's going to be my kind of like my fun part of this. So I cut that strip of that triangle paper a little bit too thin, so I'm just going to go back and trim it thicker because I want it to be a bit wider than it was. So that triangle paper is from Basic Gray from the Capture collection, and then that Click Click paper with all the cool, cute little cameras on it is from Bella Boulevard from the Family Forever collection. And then that piece that I just cut for my background is from the My Mind's Eye Now and Then collection. It has the silver chevrons on the other side, which I was very sad to not use, but I really wanted to use that grid paper. It's a nice messy grid paper, which was perfect for what I have in mind. I'm going to do lots of messy sewing on this one. So I'm trying to get that navy blue square that says snapshots of a great day. And I'm going to play a little bit with the layout of this. I am going to frame it on a piece of, or I guess that's matte, I'm going to mat it on a piece of photo paper just because the other 3x3 photos are matted. So I wanted to just make this, this little phrase fit in with the photos as another square element. So I have a 4x6 photo, two 3x3 photos from Instagram, and then I have one of those 3x3 squares from the October afternoon paper called Daily Flash. All of this stuff came in the kit. Now this is just the back side of that camera paper. It has this beautiful colorful stripe and it's very bold and energetic, and it also ties some of the colors together that are in the layout. So it has the navy blue, it has the light blue, it has some oranges and yellows and reds. And that's my double embossed dotted lace punch, which is from EK Success. I'm just going to cut that off so it doesn't span the whole length of the layout. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing here. I'm gone for a while. Oh yes, I was looking at letters. So I'm going to figure out what my title is going to be. I think it's just going to be Scrapaganza 2014, but sometimes I change my mind as I'm setting out the layers. Something else might come to me as I'm setting out the letter stickers. I do decide to move the snapshots of a great day, and the reason I did that is I'm going to be putting the title right here. That letter is way too tiny. I want the title to be bigger than that snapshots of a great day so that it's clear that that's not the title. So I'm going to use these stickers from the print shop that came with the kit. The collection, the font is called Print Shop. And so I'm going to spell out Scrapaganza here, and I'm using the larger font because I don't want it to compete too much with, or I guess I don't want snapshots of a great day to be mistaken for the title. And the reason that I moved snapshots of a great day up to there is that I didn't want two phrases beside each other, because if it was in the place where the picture of Stephanie is right now, right beside Scrapaganza, it would be two texts right beside each other, and I didn't want that. So, And I find these letters peel apart quite easily, so they are a fairly thick chipboard with like a painted coating on them, and sometimes the adhesive backing does kind of peel away, and so that's something to just be mindful of with those, and I just use a tiny bit of adhesive to put them back together again. So I have my little sewing machine here. This is my half-size sewing machine, which is what I use for paper and crafting. I'm just going to rethread it with black thread, and I'm going to put a black bobbin in. I usually leave my bobbin pretty neutral, so it's usually a white or a cream color, but when I'm using black, I'm always a little mindful that I don't want white threads popping up if the tension isn't perfect. So I did go ahead and changed the bottom bobbin into a black thread. So it's going to take me a fair bit of time here to stitch all the way around these papers. This is the Bella Boulevard, and I absolutely love all those cartoony type of cameras. And then I also really, really love this triangle pattern paper. It's probably my favorite paper in the whole kit. Again, that one is from Basic Gray, from the Capture collection. And what I'm doing here is I am stitching, and for this one I'm going to use a wide zigzag. The other ones I just used a straight stitch. And what I'm doing is it's kind of like, instead of outlining, I'm going to doodle around it with my sewing machine. And now I'm using a very skinny zigzag for going around the edge of the snapshots of a perfect day, or of a great day. And that looks really nice. I love, love, love how that looks. And so I'm also going to go around all of the photos. I wasn't going to, but once I did that one, I thought, I'm just going to go for it and do lots and lots and lots of stitching on this. So every single thing that goes on to this layout, paper-wise and photo-wise, has stitching on it. And that, it kind of does the same thing as outlining, where it brings everything together and makes it all look like it coordinates with each other. So I'm using that same very skinny zigzag stitch on these photos. And I don't really mind if it's terribly messy. There are some parts where it goes a little bit off the line of where the picture and the white border is, and that's okay, because I'm going for a little bit of a messy look on this one. I increased the width of the zigzag a little bit, so it's still not the widest zigzag that's there, but I wanted this one to be a little bit wider because the photo's a little bit wider. I don't know, something happened there. I got a little bit of a jam in my thread, so I just had to trim everything up and start over again, and it worked fine. So I'm almost done the stitching. It did take a while to do all of this stitching, but I think it's really worth it. It ties all of the pieces together, and the final layout looks really nice because of all the stitching on it. Even though some of the stitching is going to be covered up by layers and stuff, I still really like doing it. And then I decided, while I'm at it, why don't I just add some stitching to the edges of this layout. So here we go again. And I'm actually going to double stitch around this one so that it looks messier. It was looking a little bit too neat. I went too straight. I don't know how I did that. I'm usually very crooked in my stitching. But so at this point, I kind of rounded the corner, and I was going to just kind of round the corner a little bit, and then I liked how it was looking, so I thought I'm just going to continue. And I like how it looks actually when it goes off the edge a little bit. It looks like the thread is torn a little bit, and I actually really love that look. It looks very tattered on the edges, which I enjoy. I was kind of wishing I had done that on some of the pattern papers that made it to the layouts of this, into the layers of this layout. I'm tongue-tied today. This is the second video I'm narrating in a row, so. All right. So I'm going to just trim up the edges, showing you a little bit of a close-up of those raggedy edges. And now I'm going to put my layers back on. And there we go. So that's how this one is going to look. And this one is not going to have a terrible amount of embellishments on it. The reason being is that I kind of, with all of the patterns and the stitching, I really don't want to clutter this one up too much. This one would have the potential of looking quite cluttered. There's 3 photos, a title, a phrase, and all of these layers of paper. And I don't want anything important to get lost in this. So what I'm going to do is go quite minimal on the embellishments. This is going to be more along the lines of a clean and simple layout, although it's not exactly clean because there's lots of kind of messy stitching on it. So I've decided to put the title in kind of right there where you see me putting it right now. And I'm going to have to go back and glue the P onto the backing of that P. There you go. And what I used for the little lines on either side of for Scrapaganza is I used the exclamation points without the points. And the N was coming apart a little bit too, so I just used my zig glue pen for that. I like the zig glue pen because it gives a tiny amount of glue. It's liquid glue, but it's very easily controlled with the point of the pen. It's got kind of like a marker tip. It's there. Now I'm going to put down the picture of Tanya, and haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with that, and then yeah, I'm going to put it right there. So that arrow adds a really nice pop of red, so I'm going to add some more red in a couple of other places. So I've decided to put my date, which is just 2014, here in red font. These came in the kit. It's from the Daily Flash small letter stickers, and I'm going to add some sewing over that because it looks a little strange that there's no sewing at all over there since there's so much sewing everywhere else. And now I'm going to think about putting some enamel dots on some of those letters because the letters look kind of plain. I wasn't sure that I wanted them like that. I'm going to end up putting this camera here with an enamel dot in the middle. And then I picked out some flare badges that have some of the colors, and I was looking for more red. So right now I have 3 pops of red, although the 2014 is a very tiny pop of red. Then I have the flare badge right there is also red, and the arrow is red. So I feel like I'd like another tiny bit of red on this layout, and those enamel dots that came with the kit are a very orangey red. They're not the same red as the arrow and the flare badge. So I just grabbed an enamel dot from my stash. They were most likely from a previous kit, and so I just stuck that in there because it looks a little bit better than the orange would look. It ties in. Now there's definitely 3 strong pops of red on this layout, and they do create a bit of a visual triangle. I'm going to outline the camera because it was really looking quite bare, especially where it overlapped 2 different papers. I wanted to give it a little bit more definition so it didn't get lost as it kind of went off the navy blue onto the background. Thought about adding something else here, and then I thought, you know what? No, I think I'm just done. Oh, I'm not done. Thought I was done. I'm going to put 2 little die cuts from October Afternoon right here, and then I will be done. And I think they just kind of draw a bit more attention to the 2 flare badges, especially where the ampersand is on an arrow-shaped piece of paper. It kind of points down to those. I'm going to outline them because they were looking a little out of place as some of the only unfinished elements on the page. So, and I also just took a minute to cut off the little knobbies on that just from where it was die cut. There are some little knobbies on that one. And I'm going to put some adhesive pop dots on this so that the edges of the banner stay off the page, kind of pop up off the page. And then I'm also going to put the ampersand on a pop dot as well. And that is it. So here's the close-up. You get to see the messy stitching around the edges and the neater stitching, although it's still a little bit messy, on the papers and on the photo. those flare badges look really nice. It's a beautiful shot of Tanya. And Stephanie too. It's a little dark. I took it and didn't do a great job of lighting her face, but we had such a great time, and I love scrapbooking my Scrapaganza pictures because it just reminds me of how much fun we have. We try to make it an annual event, but I think we skipped a year in there. So that's what the layout looks like. Thanks so much for taking a look at it, everybody. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below, and I hope everybody has a really great scrappy week.